Hi, I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep physician, and if you have insomnia, this channel is for you. Today, another reply to Dawn, who has had trouble sleeping for 28 years and is sleeping better for about a week. He's praying that this will continue to be the trend. In this episode, we'll talk about how super encouraging this is, but that praying may not be a good thing. Welcome back. Hope you're doing really good. As you see, not in my usual surroundings. We are having guests over and they're sleeping in my office where I usually shoot this video. So I'm down in the basement, which, by the way, for those who are really hardcore subscribers here, may remember that back in episode like 78 to like 82 or something, I was down here as well. That said, just before the weekend, I believe this was Thursday, Friday, so this must be like episode like 224 or something like that. That was a reply to Dawn, who asked me about like snoring, and you know, he was waking up from like sounds, and he was like kind of hypersensitive to sounds, and I made an episode about that. And then here's a follow-up from Dawn, which I think there's several important things to talk about here. So let's just jump into it. There's also no medical advice here to anyone. Anyone out there hearing this have to decide for themselves if what I say here is applicable to you. But that said, let's jump in here. So this came in, when was this? Actually Sunday afternoon. Okay. Hi Daniel, I want to thank you for the work you have put into all of your videos on YouTube. I watched about half of them and I really appreciate your candid persistence on CBTI. Well, I just want to take a break, take a moment to say thank you, because questions like this one is as you've probably seen now, is really what makes up this channel. It's super helpful, so thank you. As I mentioned before, I've been dealing with this issue for 28 years and I've had 4 sleep studies, numerous psychologists and psychiatrists. Other than meds and the normal sleep hygiene, which is BS, I agree with that, no resolution. Just to clarify, when I say BS, you know, sleep hygiene may be helpful for some people, but if you really have trouble sleeping, insomnia, no, it doesn't work. When seeing someone new, they always try to push a new drug, including my primary care, which, as you know, has no long-term benefits other than making pharmaceutical companies more money. I've practiced sleep restriction for 1 week so far, as you recommended, and noticed some good consolidation of my sleep. Thank you so much. I pray that this will do the final trick. Keep up the great work. Tip: if I put a bunch of lights on when I start to fall asleep too early, with the sunset, that helps from a productive/fun time perspective. I have probably 2 to 3 extra hours a day to do what I like, spending less time in bed. So a couple of things. Number one, 1 week of sleep restriction, I've noticed some good consolidation on my sleep. That's huge. That's fantastic. That's super encouraging news. Now, that said, a couple of things. Number one, don't, you know, for anyone that's starting, if it's kind of like, if somebody doesn't see any improvement in the first 1 to even 3 weeks, I usually just say, you know, just keep going. It can take a lot of time. And if somebody notices a lot of improvement like this, that's super encouraging. It's something to like, you know, focus on that. Like, try to, you know, try to highlight the fact that you can sleep. You know, there's nothing wrong with you. You can sleep. And always remember that, you know, you've had this consolidation of sleep, which is super important. That said, it's going to take a long time before you, Dawn, or anybody else is like completely past their insomnia, where you reach that stage where you're like, I do not worry about sleep anymore. I can have a terrible stretch of nights and I know I can sleep and I'll know that they'll pass and I won't, that's not a signal that I have insomnia again. And like before you reach that stage, it can take a long time, but this is super encouraging. So I think that was number one. Number 2, thanks so much. I pray that this will do the final trick. You know, when I read that, I feel this, it's good to be hopeful. It's great to be hopeful. But when you have almost that like desperation, you're praying, you would say, I would trade anything for sleep. That can come back and bite you, you know? Meaning, the more sleep is one of those things that the more you want to sleep, the more elusive it gets. Like the more you want something, then the more you try, the more you think about it, the more you try to figure out like that, the more attention it gets, the harder it typically becomes. So hope is good, like praying and like really wishing to get sleep, oftentimes that becomes a barrier to good sleep actually. So I think that was an important one to mention. And then I saw a tip here, put a bunch of lights on. So I think what Don is saying here, like if you like, if it's like, you know, 9, 10 p.m. and you said, I'm going to try to stay up till like 11:30 and it's too early to go to bed, then put on a bunch of lights can help. I think it's a great tip to share, and mainly because of this one, that it helps from a productive, fun perspective. Like if you can shift your perspective from, well, first of all, if you're, the lights may help you feel alert. That's great. And secondly, but what I really loved reading in this was like, if you can shift your perspective from, oh man, it's only 10 p.m. and I have to stay up another hour and a half, to, you know, this gives me an hour and a half to do things that I wouldn't have been doing otherwise. Like shifting like kind of negative to positive thoughts there, I've come across many times as being like the key to like finally getting better. And then finally, I didn't really see this so much in this message here, but how you approach anything for sleep is super important. Meaning, oftentimes when people have trouble sleeping, they're looking for the thing that's going to produce sleep, the thing that's going to make them sleep. And that always backfires, and I've talked a lot about that. But something that I haven't talked about as much is that CBTI in itself can, if approached that way, can also backfire. Meaning, like if somebody is approaching CBTI as like, this is going to make me sleep, then you again build up that like kind of anticipation, preoccupation, thinking about it, and like, is it working? Is it not working? You kind of self monitoring and that like that, which actually leads to more insomnia. But if you instead approach it as like, it's almost like exercise, it's like learning, it's like setting a stage for sleep, but it doesn't produce sleep, it doesn't make sleep, but it kind of like a, you know, over time, it's going to give you the best chances, and if you just keep going, it's going to help, etc. If that's the approach to CBTI, that is fantastic. Okay, so just a couple things there. I'm super encouraged to read this, Don, and thank you for sharing, and stay in touch and let us know how things go. Okay. So that said, thanks for all comments and emails. Please keep in coming. That really brings life to the channel. And my email, by the way, is daniel@insomniainsight.co. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Until then, take it easy.